We have been involved in conflict resolution in our country, when, as I have pointed out before, we had to try and change ourselves as individuals, because there's no use trying to change others if you yourself are unable to change yourself.
Nelson Mandela was born in 1918 in a rural village in South Africa. Mandela rose from humble means into a comfortable life as the adopted son of a Timbu chief. He attended a Christian mission school and went to college. In the 1940s, Mandela found himself thrust into the turbulent world of racial politics in South Africa. The Afrikaners gained power in South Africa. The Afrikaners put into place the terrible policy of apartheid, which means separation, separating and taking away the rights of people of color.
Nelson Mandela once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." To me, this quote means that you can't really hold on to grudges and you can't let the other people have power, because when you do, then basically you're giving them all the power. You can't resent someone for doing something because it hurts you more than it hurts other people. An example of resentment is when someone bumps into you in the hallway and you choose to hold on to that grudge, or you choose to resent them even though it wasn't really a big deal. Not in Nelson Mandela's case, which it kind of was a big deal, but he chose to let it go. And when you hold on to it, you're stressing yourself out, or you're making yourself angry when the other person is going on living their life, which isn't the right thing to do. You should just live your life as they are living theirs.
As a young man in his 20s, Mandela formed the Youth League of the African National Congress. He later became second in command in the ANC. He organized against the oppression of apartheid, and in 1963, he was arrested and put on trial for treason. He was in prison for 27 years in a small cell on an island, becoming a symbol for the anti-apartheid movement even in jail. In 1993, 3 years after he was released from prison, Mandela won the Nobel Peace Prize for his work in South Africa.
Nelson Mandela said, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." And I think that means that your choices should be based on positive thoughts instead of negative ones. Your choices shouldn't stem from your insecurities, but they should stem from something more positive, like your hopes. Instead of being unkind to one another, you should strive to, help others out. A lot of the time, when you're mean to somebody, it could stem from insecurities. But I think that if you hope to be kind to someone, that's what your choices will reflect.
In 1994, he became the first black president and the first democratically elected president of South Africa. Mandela invited one of his former jailers to his inauguration, and he reached out to all South Africans as president, overcoming citizens' bitterness and fear to form a successful government. Mandela became a worldwide symbol of reconciliation and forgiveness, with admirers from President Obama to Bono. His funeral in December 2013 was attended by millions of South Africans and leaders from around the world. He was 95 years old.
Nelson Mandela is inspirational because of a choice that he made to forgive. Consider what he could have done, given the fact that his country hated him, and the people who he was imprisoned by and incarcerated by tried to break his body. They tortured him and brought him to the brink of death many times. And yet, when he was given the chance, he chose to say that he forgave his oppressors. And I think it's interesting to think about forgiveness in this example as a way of it's both spiritual and it's tactical. So on the one hand, it's spiritual in the sense that, forgiveness is a part of Nelson Mandela's Christian upbringing. And it's a fundamental part of what he believes about the world and about spirituality. But it's also a tactical maneuver in order to bring his country back together. I think that, given the fact that he could have come out with bitterness and hatred toward his oppressors, who knows what South Africa would look like today? I mean, it's not hard to imagine South Africa still being embroiled in war now if he had not forgiven his oppressors. And so but in reality, what he wanted was he wanted a free South Africa. He wanted a united South Africa, and he realized that the best way to do that would be to take the first step towards reconciliation, which is for the victim to forgive the victimizer. And I think that in a lot of ways that's more difficult than choosing selfishness or choosing bitterness. It's more difficult, and it takes a greater warrior's spirit to say, I forgive you for what you've done to me. I think that's a much more difficult thing to do, and one that we should all kind of step back for a minute and realize how astounding that choice really was.